tuned into. Facts, transparency, results, process, authenticity, culturally competent, wise foresight, challenging, thought-provoking, clarity, unpacking, relatable, aware, present, proven solutions.
Controversial, witty, unbiased, intentional, black, sexy, sassy, fresh. Whatever we question, we will put to rest. Whatever you question, we will try our best. Before you get solutions, you gotta have the proof. We just here to talk about the facts and the truth. Relationships, sports, entertainment, or the news. Enzo and Tiana, baby, go through and talk it through.
Okay. This is getting crazy out here.
Real crazy. Bae,
What?
what's going on out here?
I guess today's episode is on a very, I don't even know what to call this. This topic is transgenderism. We're talking about the LGBTQ community and whatever else comes after that. With the, I guess, emphasis on transgenderism.
And an even stronger emphasis on its impact and how it's affecting women.
Ooh.
It's about to get real.
It's about to get real.
You already know who it is.
Enzo.
And Tiana.
Proof and solutions. Before you get the solutions, you gotta have the proof.
Facts.
Let's get into it.
How do you want to jump into this?
Well, I'm gonna just keep it real. You know, I scroll on Facebook. I scroll on TikTok.
As do I.
I just scroll, you know. Yeah, so we seen a video about, well, I guess we seen a post about a guy.
Yep, it was a post. I saw it on Facebook.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
And I want to get specific on this, you know. We're not hiding any details here because it's public. So I want to speak specifically to exactly what this is and what's going on.
All right. What am I looking for? Transgender.
Just the article. I mean, a couple scrolls, you should be able to
swimmer
find it.
wins. Okay. Yeah.
Leah Thomas.
Leah Thomas.
First known transgendered
athlete to win top of the whole Olympic in that women's category. But what do you think about this? Well, what about this for you rubs you the wrong way?
I don't think that this just rubs me the wrong way. I think this is rubbing a lot of not only women, but just sports, athletes, society, a lot of people wrong, you know? Because, I mean, it's like, I don't even know how to approach this. Like, I'm trying so hard to I don't even know how to jump in this topic. I don't. And, it's because at its root, you can't take away a woman from a woman. And at its root, you cannot take a man from being a man. And that is regardless of if they feel they were supposed to be born this other gender. I mean, we respect how you feel, who you believe you should be. That is your own business. But now we're saying we want society to believe that a person that was born a man can change into a woman and earn titles and honorary things in a woman's sport, in a woman's place.
Right.
Things that women fought for.
It's transformed into a whole
This is a new space.
new
This is like,
situation.
okay, how far is too far? You know what I mean? It's just like, we're not taking away what your sexuality means to you. But what we are saying is it fair to project that in areas such as this, where it comes down to sports? Now let's flip it in reverse. What happens in reverse now?
You already know what happens in reverse. Now there are gonna be women who what? How would that look? Actually, yeah, that is. I'm trying to. What? It would be women. Yeah, it would be the polar opposite. Women would have to transform themselves into men to play in the NBA.
I mean, if that ever happens.
Well, even football, like, you know
I
what I
mean,
mean? Like,
I feel that gender itself would just dissipate at that point. We would just all be born and they should all just mark us human. Human.
yo,
And
like,
not even assign a gender at all. Like, I mean, just let it be what it is. And that way there's no understanding of gender.
so let's touch right into stuff like this. This is where the psyche comes into play, because now if we're going to really give life to this, then all of the double standards have to cease. If we were to go that far, meaning there is no, when we talk about domestic violence, men beating on women.
Right. That you got to erase all of that.
You gotta erase
That's
that,
all
right?
gone, because you know what? Gender no longer exists. There's no hierarchy now. That no longer can exist. If we're going this far, and I can be born a man and get 17 and say, you know, I always felt like a woman, and then I just want to change myself into a woman. I always felt like a woman. I should have been born a woman, even though I was born a man. And you go through the surgery and the hormone process that you choose to put on yourself, and now you're a woman because you feel like a woman. And now society has to honor you as a woman. We have to treat you as a woman. We are, you know, using your pronouns to address. You know what I mean?
Even the pronouns.
Like,
Them pronouns is like, for me, it's simple. The pronouns that I came up with is just you and me.
it's simple.
You.
Because
Me.
I don't understand how
I don't
to
know what else to say.
address some of those. And I'm just being honest. So I'm in respect. You're you. I'm me.
Yeah, so, we could talk about a lot of double standards or contradictions or even hypocrisies when it comes to gender being stretched
Right.
beyond its natural state.
Crazy thing about it is, gender is a made up construct.
I thought they were the same thing, as gender and sex were the same thing, but they then flipped it into gender being this thing of, once again, like, I feel this.
To create hierarchy, though. I mean, let's go back a little bit, babe. We're about to get deep right quick. Let's jump back. We're reading a book called
The Man Not.
And in this book, we're going deep, into gender. And the writer was explaining how historically what is the word, babe? The
patriarchy or
not patriarchy. It's one of those words. Etymologist. One of those.
oh, okay. Basically a scholar.
Right. The scholars of the times who
Right.
basically were believed to be the mind of society, if I can say that. But basically, they came up with the understanding of gender separate from sex, which was male, female, right? So that they could delineate black men, essentially.
I see what you're saying now.
So now that
right.
we're so far from that, though, because this is 19th century. Now that we're far from that,
epiphany.
Right, you follow me
I'm
now.
feeling you now.
Okay, we're here.
We're here at a like a intangible reality, whereas the sex is tangible. It's penis, vagina. Gender is intangible, and now you can create anything from it.
Yes.
And they've landed here, and
we're here.
Society has landed here.
Right. Exactly. Right.
That's a great thing, baby. I definitely understand, and yeah. So, that's really a deep way you put that. Right. And you know, this stuff is really one of these things. Like I heard a lady say also, she was like, you know, children are already inclusive. You know what I mean? You don't children are already inclusive. You don't have to teach them what the parents need to teach them. The teachers are there just to teach, you know, basic fundamentals of, you know, math, education. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to education, it's math, reading, English, you know what I mean? And all these things.
Right.
Sex ed class is for your understanding of what sex is. You know what I'm saying? And your parents had to sign off for that too. Yeah. But now,
do they have to sign off still?
I don't, man. From what I heard a situation that happened. I'm not even gonna speak on it. I don't think they even care at this point. I'm gonna just keep it real with you.
That's deep. I remember that. We definitely had to get like a permission slip signed almost to experience that material at that age. And I think I was like in middle school at this time, if I'm not mistaken.
When I say I think they don't care, I can actually pull a contact out of my phone and call them and be like, yo, speak on what happened. And
stop.
Dead serious. They're teaching these children this, and the parents don't even, you know what I'm saying, know what's going on, or, you know what I mean? Go ahead.
And that's why the parents got to get to these kids first, you know, because it's at a younger and younger age. Whatever you are allowing your children to be exposed to, whether that's through you directly or relatives or friends of, you know, whoever, it's your responsibility as parents to protect your child's mind. You know, children are sponges. Right. They're soaking up everything. That's a fact. You got to be careful what they're soaking up.
That's implicit memory. You know what I'm saying? That's the implicit stage of a child. And it's just, you know, this is just one of these topics where you can dive into it, but there's really, I can't find any logic in feelings versus the reality of how the earth has been populated. You know what I mean? Like, so at this point, I'm like, if the earth has been populated just by female and male, then where are these extras gonna go? I don't understand that. You really have to ask this question. Think about that. This is not a bash or a hate speech against anybody. This is a legit question. If the human population carries forward through sperm and egg,
facts,
which comes from a female womb
Mm-hmm.
and a male's testicles,
Right.
where are the extras that feel as if what they feel is legit? Where are they going to go in human production or even existence? How is this? For me, what do we
Wow.
even call? Think about it. If we produce these types of beings, then what do we call ourselves?
You know,
Hmm.
what do
What
we call ourselves?
what do we call ourselves if we produce the very people that we're talking about? What's going on?
Man,
This stuff goes in full circle.
it's so deep, yo. Cause
It's deep.
you have me thinking so deep right now.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to even wrap my mind around some.
See, people
But
don't get that deep. You want to know why? Because they don't know how to frame it.
you
I know
have
how
to
to
know how to
frame
frame things like
the
this.
things in a way where you're not gonna get offended. If you get offended, you have every right to be. You know what I'm saying?
And
But
it's
even then, you wouldn't have a valid argument.
right. It's
You know what
not
I'm
for
saying?
anyone to be offended by.
So at this point, even then, we're talking about crimes now.
Hmm.
And this has been discussed before. Hate crimes because somebody's not being called what they want to be called, such as a pronoun, or even
Hmm.
being called something, a sex that they're not because they feel they don't want to be that sex. Are we talking about social crime now happening
We
besides hate
can't
crime?
make people crazy. You know, we can't just make people crazy and expect that society continues in a somewhat healthy manner. Because our society in which we live in is messed up. It's
Right.
unhealthy, and we know that because we live in it. But you also have the society in which you create. And what are we trying to create here by establishing things such as this, in which I, as a man, as a grown man, I was a man for years. I was married to a woman. She had children. I had children with this woman. I decided I wanted to be a woman. I left my wife and I decided I want to be a woman, and I win Woman of the Year.
What is
we
what
saying?
is that for women?
How does a man who was a man in an old man, you know, and turned into a woman at an old age and wins Woman of the Year?
Yeah, that's wild.
That's wild, and that's why I'm saying, like, how far are we going to stretch our understanding of really what gender means and what sex means, and how we're teaching our children this, and how they're raising up, because they're already shoving it down.
Think about it. That's the reason why they're shoving it down, because
Like,
you
you don't
can't
even-
teach anything from that.
You don't even allow children to, like,
The only
be
thing
who they are now.
The only thing I feel like you can teach from that is what the end of this conversation would be, which is everybody's up. Excuse my language. Everybody's messed up.
Yeah, but is that our excuse, though? Is that going to be our excuse? Well, everybody's messed up. Okay, what do we do then? Then just lay down then and don't do nothing then. Just stop life now then. If you're not going to thrive, if you're not going to go, if you're not after anything, you don't want nothing, you just want to protest your selfish rights, what are you doing for society? What help are you?
Right. I mean, here's because my thing about any of this is this. I never cared about anybody's lifestyle. We talking about crime versus just living at this point. Okay.
Right.
I never cared. But then it gets to a point where it's like, now, once again, we can actually see it on public display. I don't even care for movies. Like, okay, yeah, we could talk about, seeing this stuff in the movies or whatever the case, shows, series, or whatever the case may be. Right. Now it's actually in the Olympics we're talking about. So this is stuff that's like I heard.
We're defying everything that we understood and knew. I mean.
Right. I heard a rapper speak on this. He was like, they gonna start trying to get money about this stuff. Now we gonna start breeding humans to transform themselves to get money in a different way. Ugh.
What?
Whew.
I mean, think about it.
Deep.
That's crazy, but I would not put it past Americans at all. Americans after that bag.
Man, they have to
If they can get that cheddar, oh my
they
gosh.
have to
They're gonna
be
breed
power.
What you know what this got me thinking of? You ever seen the movie Sorry Not to Bother You?
I think I seen that.
Okay, don't go all the way there, but feel me on this.
Mhm.
Okay. So apply that, but now instead of them being like big masculine horses,
Mhm.
you know, they're just, teenage boys. And, they identify as, okay, female. And now we're going to get a group of them and we're going to start breeding them to be hoopers now.
So, babe, I
Or
see
whatever
what you're
sport,
saying.
you know what I'm saying? We're going to
Yeah.
breed them as these power athletes and we're going to change genders. You know what I'm saying? Because I've always felt like a woman, and now we're gonna start placing them in every sport. And then what becomes of sports? What's the competition between men and women now? There is none.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, everything is blurred. I mean, I think it's just a not segue. I'll say just to digress real quick. It's just so bad where now it's too much on top of a lot. First, we got the vaccination situation. People losing their jobs, almost losing their jobs, or being stripped away from their careers and their talents. Like they
Right.
made, like you know what I'm saying? How dare you? I'm gonna just keep it real. We're talking about human beings. I don't care if you're the president. I don't care you're a human being.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
let's keep it real. Respect, cordialness, and conversing is one thing. But then we're talking about humanity now.
Right.
So we're humans, man. And
that we are.
I don't get how we can actually sit here and portray like this is something profound. Profound ain't even a word, because when you think about profound, it's just something deep to to think about. You know what I'm saying? It's something that can, but profound though, like,
yeah, and I would even say as deep as you make it. It's because it's as far as it goes for you.
Right.
It's how you identify, is where you stand. So this doesn't even have to be deep for everybody.
Right.
But it's deep for society, even if you don't care, even if you do stand with a certain group because of whatever affiliation,
Right.
So.
And it's like, man, like, there's too much division going on, man. I think it's the vaccination, then we had this, like, it's so much division going on right now. It's like, how do we live amongst each other now without offending anybody? We already seeing cops killing civilians. We already seeing homicides. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We got this vaccination situation. We got transgenderism being shoved down our throats like it's some type of agenda literally put down in the Olympics. Like, you know what I mean? It's history at this point.
And then,
like, what are we doing?
I don't even know. And then there's rumors of war.
Rumors of war. Who's the mastermind behind this? It makes you want to think. Who's the mastermind?
Don't even want to think.
This?
I don't want to think because it's too much.
I even think about it like this, right?
I don't want.
Black Lives Matter. All of this stuff I never adhered to. I never thought to be like, yo, Black Lives Matter. Because I always thought human lives matter, besides the fact of my reality as a black man and what I've seen, what I've been through. I lived it. So the experience is already ingrained in me as a black man, right? So the putting a title on it, on anything that's real for me, is like, what are we? We don't have to put titles on anything that's just there.
Right. I'm going to simplify that.
Uh-huh.
The movement shouldn't even have to exist, is what we're saying.
Yeah, no movement should exist.
It shouldn't have to.
What are we doing?
Because what are we doing? If we can all accept LGBTQ, and I don't know the rest of the letters, but if we can all band together and we all have to accept, why can't we do that for black people? And
That's
you
a
might
great
say, but
question.
there are black people that are part of the LGBTQ. Yeah, there are, but I don't know. Do you have to ask them then? Hey, where does your loyalty lie? If it come down to it, and we go to war, and it's black versus white, are you with LGBTQ? Or are you with black people? No, you don't ever have to ask somebody those questions like that.
So it's a lot of contradictions, hypocrisies, once again, double standards. This nexus that's going on, nexus full of man, how can I explain? A nexus full of just like, man, it's a I don't know.
You know what? We living in a matrix. That's how I'm gonna put that. Man. I think, just red pill or blue pill. Which one you want to take, yo? Which one you want?
I think we've gotten to that point.
We've gotten to
like
that
for real.
point.
Psychologically in life, I really think I've gotten to a point where if you cannot have a actual forward well-oiled conversation with me to where there's a conclusion because it is backed by something, you know what I mean? I don't want to deal with you. I can't see myself conversing with somebody who's that confused. I'm gonna just keep real because that's confusion to me.
Right.
I can't. There's no other way. Now,
confusion is evil, though, for real. Like, that's biblical for sure.
I don't know. Hey, listen.
So you have to be of a sound mind.
Think about it. If I built this house and I built it so awkward, I can build it awkward, but there's still measurements to it.
Definitely.
I can't
Otherwise, it'll fall.
Right. Throw up something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, yeah, you can lift something into space and let it float because that's space. If China supposedly lifted up a second sun into this atmosphere, stuff like that, okay, it's logical. I can see somebody throwing some hot ball in the air.
Hotter than the sun, though. They said hot turd.
Because fire exists. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but this was like how the degrees that fire gets.
Supposedly, it could be just a rumor, and social media is like the sub outlet for the media. Like,
can you even believe?
Can you believe anything at this point? You know what I'm saying? So
I can't.
Right. So you know what I'm saying? I can believe in things that are backed by something, even if it sounds crazy. But I can't believe, for instance, everybody says they believe in God, right? Now
no,
we've
not
never
everybody.
When I'm speaking on the people who believe in God. When we all say we believe in God.
Oh, you talking about in general, the people who be like, I love Jesus.
I love God.
Like, are we saying God or Jesus?
Well, either way it go, right? This is how I'm looking at what's going on right now. I'm accepting of it like I'm accepting of God. Why? Because God loves everybody, right?
Right.
So there's nothing to be like, I don't accept people and not I don't love people.
Right.
It's the actual logic, the math behind it, the framework behind it that I cannot piece together as something to be like, yo, even a story such as the Bible makes sense. Even if it's God that I've never seen before, I could at least read the Bible and, understand that which I haven't seen, but believe it and understand it, have faith in it.
Right.
Because it just makes sense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even if the story such as the staff part in the Red Sea, hey, maybe
I can get real deep with it too, since you're bringing up, just beliefs. A story about the Tower of Babel. Yeah.
Right.
So they were trying to build a tower because at this time we were all of one language, one people. We got so self-confident that we were trying to build a tower to see the heavens and see. We like, yeah, we finna go up there and kick it with God.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So God's like, nah, that's not going down.
Right.
He confused the language.
Mhm.
Why would you think that if God confused the language of all these people and they scattered abroad according to their different languages, that there would be the understanding of God and who God was, but in these different languages?
That's deep.
And think about the areas now where these people were scattered in history. You're going to take God away from them because you don't understand their language? Well, God did that.
Right. Yeah, and that makes sense because, I mean, that's exactly how I'm seeing it. Like, we can, I can't even lie and say I understand Moses' staff part in the Red Sea. I can't understand it, right?
It's not to be understood.
And it's not to be understood. So I can say the same for this topic. I can't understand transgenderism. I can't see it from a genetic standpoint. I can't, and it's not backed by anything. So it doesn't come from the only thing, like I said, it comes from us.
Right.
So if it comes from us,
I can't go against myself.
right. If it comes from us, then I have to believe that it exists in that form. Now, do we call it a regressive form, or do we call it a progressive form?
And that depends on how you see it. That definitely depends on how you see that.
I mean, you really have to ask these questions. Think about it.
Just like now, you have to ask questions at a very young age now, according to toys, and they're putting, there's just so much going on.
And then, I mean, besides that, it's when we talk about even genetics, there's a regressive gene, is it not?
Yeah.
Do we talk about regressiveness in genes, genetics?
Wait, regressive?
Or recessive, whatever.
Okay. I'm like, wait, recessive?
Ain't that the one and the same?
No, I don't think so.
Watch.
Maybe? Okay, look it up.
We finna look up recessive.
Versus regressive.
Regressive.
Go compare the two.
Refers to a trait that is expressed only when genotype is homogeneous, a trait that tends to be masked by other inherited traits, yet persists in the population among
the weaker trait.
Basically,
other words. It's the weaker trait.
It's so recessive.
Right,
it's
but
one and the same.
Now look up regressive.
Regressive. Let's just put regress.
Because I think to regress is like
it's basically like it's
backwards.
It's back. You know what I'm saying? It's
okay, but
it's back.
I wasn't thinking. Okay, back regarding what?
And then
like a weaker mindset,
a return to a former or less developed state. It's the same one and the same. It's like
but
synonyms.
Then are you saying that recessive genes are less developed state, or because they're just?
It could be. Think about it. We talking about albinoism. That's supposed to be like the
all recessive. Oh no, not.
It's not.
I forgot. They cancel out.
Yes, it's basically like
we need to brush up on our science.
It's rare, or it's a small amount of something, basically.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's like, basically, it's nothing wrong with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just that, that's what it is.
Exists.
It
right,
exists.
because you got to think about it. We're getting genes from both parents.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Ding. We're getting genes from both parents now.
Mm-hmm.
If I am born a certain way, I get genes from both parents. So I think now we have to start doing studies on parents and figure out who has the genes that makes a male seed feel like a woman, and then who has the genes that makes female seeds feel like men. Like where in the womb, or where in the genetics, like what happens, or I think the what gets closest
exactly.
binary, non-binary, where they're like, can you look that up? I don't want to be wrong on it.
You're on point. You inherit these from certain your certain parent.
That's what I'm saying.
These traits and stuff like that.
So I get that genetically, but then if my mom we have to go back some generations, because if my mom identifies as heterosexual
Mm-hmm.
and my father identified as heterosexual, but I myself came out and I identified as homosexual, or felt like a woman and I was born a man,
Mm-hmm.
and I changed my gender to be a woman later on in life,
Mm-hmm.
I have to ask myself, like, who did I get that from, or was I just born that way? But I do have to consider genetics.
Right. Exactly. You have to consider genetics, but regression is just basically returning to its
Right,
former
like
state.
Benjamin Button, basically.
Yeah, basically
He
like that. So
regressed.
you
Yeah.
regress, you know what I'm saying? And it's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about here? If anything, if I'm confused about anything,
Progress over regression, always. Because if we allow our minds to begin to regress,
mm-hmm,
progress is no longer identifiable.
exactly. To regress is to return back to its former state. So,
Right.
we talking about recessive genes at this point.
If that's the case, let's return to primitive
We have to
nature.
return to the former state, which is the parents. So we're talking about us, right? So we're the human population that carries what? Homosexual genes? Or is that something that's taught? That's the point that's where I'm executing this to. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
And that's why I was bringing that up. It's just like that's the question we're asking
exactly.
now. Like, do we get these genetics makeups from mom and dad now that determines you're either born heterosexual or homosexual,
Right.
or what? I don't know what else to call it. Um or what does it come, or like you said, after, or what did you go through in the womb, or what kind of chemical imbalance did you have in the womb? I don't know, so many different factors. And because, like, it's mental, because you have to have a mind to think
Mm-hmm.
a certain type of way. So at some point you were impacted mentally, because you can't be born and
Well,
just think a certain way, because you're
right,
taught how to think. You know what I mean? So
right.
if that's the case, then I I have to make myself crazy to think that. I just
But that's the same thing as you know what I'm saying? We've been talking about it. I mean, if you whatever you put inside of a child, that's their mindset. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
but
And it's
then
like
what
that's the
about
only. I
the
mean, I don't. Okay, I don't know. Like all I can say is nobody's ever spoken to me about this in school in my day and age. That's what I can say. But go
me
ahead.
either? We're in a different time, definitely in a different day and in a different age, for sure. But still, I mean, I want to protect the mind of the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to do that, you have to stand for something.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot fall for anything. We can't.
Mm.
Because then what are we teaching the next generation?
Right.
So it's just like, and it's personal, then allow it to be personal.
Mm. Let it be personal. Just if and if somebody asks you, that's your window, your opportunity to express yourself. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. But I think all of these things that that's not backed by education. If it's not backed by education, then don't push this down our throats like this, y'all.
Right. And it's not to say we are saying don't allow
Right.
people to be who they
Who
are.
they are.
No, let them
We're
be
just
who they
saying
are. But
it doesn't make
no, you
sense to the
can't be on
reality.
on the women's team, yo.
That right.
No.
That doesn't connect right.
That's not fair,
It
man.
doesn't make any sense, bro. Like I'm
That's
gonna
not
just keep
fair.
it real, man. Like
That's
none
not
of
fair.
that
Because no one. And then did you see the rank jump when he was a man?
there,
He was like 300 and something. He was bottom of the bottom with the bottom. He was a bottom feeder.
That's what
He a
I'm
bottom
saying.
feeder, now he a shark. You know what happened? Man, I just got mad a little bit. Let me calm down.
Yeah, so how about this?
Okay.
I think we went through it all. At this point, we'll start to sound redundant.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. We don't want to bore you. So
We don't want to bore you. I think we went through it all. We don't want to sound redundant.
look, we got the proof. Y'all know what it is.
We got the proof. The proof is transgenderism exists as well as, a lot of other things that we can't understand.
The proof is what's for you, let it be for you.
Hmm.
But don't make what's for you for me. That's as simple as I could put it.
That would be the solution then, right?
Is that the solution?
It could be.
I think it could be.
The proof is the transgenderism exists, and everything else, that will be the solution. Be you. I'm gonna be me. But I'm not finna fake me to get ahead.
Right.
Man.
And don't get mad at me because I don't want to be you. Let me be myself.
And definitely don't get mad because I'm expressing this at this very moment.
Exactly.
My reality is
it's a respect
I don't
thing.
believe anything of it, just like I don't believe a lot of stuff. You will have to aliens. I can't see aliens to exist.
I
Only in a God form.
I seen.
That's the only way I can see, because I can't
see that green.
Right.
Yeah, that's tall.
I don't know. I didn't.
We'll talk about that another time.
Yeah. But what I don't understand is real for me, and I have every right to speak on it.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm not being disrespectful.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
It is a world in which we exercise the freedom of speech.
There we go. And that is the solution and the proof.